God, I hope you guys caught that.
Yeah, just barely. That's
A
a way
Muppet, just a Muppet. That's the
A
last
Muppet,
thing
literally
I
a
heard.
Muppet.
Yeah.
I
That's-
interviewed a Muppet today.
That's all. I don't even know if we're allowed to say anything else, so that's where we're going to end that conversation.
Okay.
But that's
That's
hilarious.
not how. That's not how. That's not the
Muppet.
thing you say before you press the go live button and
That was
get
great.
cut off.
great.
That's
That was great, especially because it cut off and I'm just dying here laughing. I'm like, I don't know if anyone knows what's happening but me. Well, Brendan does, but he doesn't think I'm funny. So, so there's that.
it's not allowed to say that he
Anywho.
thinks you're funny, anyways.
So,
Anyways.
Ed, to catch you up a little bit,
Mhm.
Chris is playing Sonic. I am not anymore, but he says a lot of the issues that I've had with the game are fixed up. There's still
From
some
what
issues.
I perceve,
From
oh,
what
fair.
allegedly.
Allegedly, I didn't play the game, and you did. So
But that it's still kind of tonally off, and we're not sure like who the game is for. But Chris likes janky 3D Sonic, so we're good.
that's just what it is, though.
Are you a Sonic fan? Like, were you a Sonic fan before Frontiers, Chris?
Yeah, so kind of hit and miss with
makes
some of the
sense.
games that have been out in the 3D
That
era,
makes
but like I played a lot of Sonic Adventure 2 on GameCube.
Okay.
So
Oh man.
Because I previewed it at Gamescom and I'm a big Sonic fan, and I left being like, woof, big woof. But I mean, even the reviews were kind of okay. People are saying like that, they're having a surprising amount of fun, but the bar is so low anyway after Forces.
Yeah.
So it's very hard to not have fun with a new
Well, the
Sonic game. I
bar's
think.
even low after like the previews and stuff. Now we
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
didn't get to like pre-review it. We're reviewing it since it came out, but we were not nice to the game, and a lot of other sites weren't nice to the game. So I'm wondering if the people that are finally getting their hands on it were just like expecting
Maybe.
Apocalypse Sonic, and now they're like, "This is cool. This is not
That's a
the
good take. Yeah,
worst."
I
This
can
is-
see it. Yeah, because even in my preview, I was like, oof, maybe don't hold out hope. Like low expectations.
And that wasn't long ago. So to hear people are like
Yeah.
pretty satisfied with it, like I trust Chris.
So that being said, I don't think I'd play any other version but the PS5 version. I don't
Okay.
think I trust it on the Switch or
I've
maybe
never
even the
seen.
PS4.
I've never heard anyone talk about the Switch version. Probably for good reason. No one wants
I
it.
bet you they didn't give out a Switch version.
I don't know. I know it's out, but
Well, let's go see if
Actually-
Metacritic.
well, the user reviews on Metacritic currently are stacked positive, but
But
Okay.
they
take that
will
with a grain of
have.
salt.
Hold on. Sonic Frontiers for Switch. Only 5 critic reviews for the Switch.
6.5 from Nintendo Life.
Yeah.
One of the cons being the game simply looks awful on the Switch, which is
It simply looks.
why expected.
Simply. But yeah, it's neat to see that like how many were there for the PlayStation? How many reviews do we think?
Yeah.
Let's go to PS5. 57.
Yeah.
57 critic reviews on PlayStation, only 5 on Switch, 1 on PC so far. Let's go Series X. Only 2 on Series X, 1 on PlayStation 4, and none on Xbox One.
Yeah, I don't know if there's gonna be any
Well, that's
review code
great.
sent out for Xbox One. That's kind of
I think that's interesting to see that all the critic reviews are. Maybe they know
There's a-
something.
there's a discussion to be had there in itself. Yeah.
Well, if you have the option to play it on hardware that is significantly stronger,
Yeah.
do it. I mean,
Well, yeah, like even Sonic Colors last year when they put that out, I played the PS5 version and thought, this is good. Then it came out, and everyone who bought the Switch version, which was broken, was mad because the reviews were good and the game was broken. But it wasn't
Right.
broken on the platform I played it on. So
yeah, it's not
I,
broken.
re-
here,
I
guys.
remember I asked the preview, I asked the lady at the preview, I was like, oh, what version of the game I'm playing it on? And she was like, oh, PC. And then she continued by saying, oh, I'm excited to see it on next gen. And I was like, surely the PC is stronger. Surely this should be the definitive version. But I do think like they prioritize like the PlayStation 5 Series X /S versions. So that those are the marquee platforms for them.
Yeah, I don't know.
yeah, I'm not sure I'd want to touch them on anything else.
Fair.
It looks impressive. Like it looks impressive on PS5, but yeah, I don't.
Interesting.
Jordan,
What's Jordan doing?
some guys chirping on YouTube.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what our own reviewer of it when thinks of it when the review goes up. So you can stay tuned to cgmagonline.com for that. I
Maybe
really
we
feel
should
this
have
is one
battle
that's gonna
reviews.
right. This one more than like any other game I think that's come out since I've been with the magazine is really like a divisive play it for yourself type of thing, right? Like
Okay, why?
it's just well between looking at the review scores where some people are like this is like the best Sonic's ever been, and other ones are saying it's not broken and that's all the good I can say about it.
Right.
Like
Yeah,
it's really gonna come down to personal flavor, I think.
But I think that one of the most common takes I've heard is like, "Oh, the best Sonic in 10 years," and that's fair. Think about like the Sonic
That's
games we
fair.
had in the
I
the
hope
past 10 years.
so.
We had
That's
Sonic
fair.
Boom, we had Sonic Forces, not Sonic Mania. That doesn't really count. That's a 2D Sonic, right? But like we had
Yeah.
Forces, Boom, Rise of Lyric, and that's it.
Can
That's
we just for a
generally it.
minute point out that I played Sonic, oh god, when I was in like grade 4, probably. I can
Mhm.
remember being at my friend's house collecting rings and it was delightful. But I was unaware that Sonic was still happening for the last 10 years until
Yep,
like
it
I
has.
started here and obviously things are happening. I think the only two I can name are Sonic Origins and now Sonic Frontiers. But yeah, I did not know that this like I'm gonna call it the underground. It wasn't clearly. I'm just behind, but
It's funny
the
you say
Sonic
underground.
Underground.
Don't call it Sonic Underground because that was
Yeah,
a
no.
cartoon series.
Was it really?
It was.
Yeah,
Yes. I'm the worst.
I think that was with Jaleel White voicing Sonic still, and also his two siblings. That's even the wildest part. Jaleel
I
White
think,
was the voice of
I think
Sonic.
that was a deliberate reference, Dana.
Yeah, I'm that good. I'm so good. I'm not that
It's buried in
witty.
your
Don't give me
subconscious
that.
somewhere. Yeah.
Don't give me it might be. Maybe.
Yeah, Sonic's been going strong actually. Like the comics got a revival like a
Archie
couple
does
years
those,
ago.
right?
Yeah.
No, it's Boom. Is it Boom? It's
Oh,
Boom
yeah.
Comics now. Yeah, it's not even Archie anymore. They
But
got
for
the license.
Frontiers, they got Ian Flynn who writes the comics as well. So people mention that the writing is stronger, although it's still a Sonic game.
It's a Sonic game. It's actually what was really cool was they did a prequel trailer, not prequel, but like a
Oh,
prelude
yeah.
trailer with Knuckles, explaining where he is through the game, and
Like you can
it was
turn your
animated by the
stuff off.
same studio that did like the Sonic Mania and Sonic Origins shorts, but this time with actual voice acting and stuff like that. So that was really cool. That actually got
That's
me
good,
kind of
yeah.
excited for the game in general. So
That's neat. Before I'm gonna ruin this for a minute, are we still talking Sonic? Do you guys have anything else to add?
I think we're good.
Okay.
To go on Sonic.
Because I know that Ed here, look at I'm pointing right, had some thoughts on God of War. You've been playing it, right?
Mhm,
Yeah,
I'm
we
about-
kind of touched on it a little bit at the beginning, but
None of us have played
Do
it directly,
tell.
so
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
I'm
I've supervised.
5 hours in, I think, so I'm
Mhm.
not very deep into it, but I really like it. As you expect, like a 95 Metacritic kind of score, like Santa Monica does it again. Right now, 5 hours in, it's more of the same, which is a great thing, which is good. More of the same of like a masterpiece kind of game is good. Although I am slightly disappointed that it really does feel like very expected for now. Like everything I've seen, I'm like, cool, yeah, this is one-upping this fight, cool. Boss battles, it's bigger, it's better, it's stronger, but it's also more
there's
of
a
the
song
same.
about that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's really good, and I've just got to the part where like the game kind of opens. Let me focus the camera. Come on, there we go.
Yeah, I've been doing that all night.
Yeah. And what I like most is the writing still. What I like most is the story still. What I like most beyond everything else is just like how rich the characters are. That's still the
Yeah.
most interesting aspect to me.
I have questions for you.
Mhm.
Since you've actually played it. Number one,
Yeah.
do you think it's a game of the year contender?
Yeah.
And number two, do you think that it's such a big deal right now because we've had a really slow several months in terms of that kind of epic game? We had Elden Ring at the beginning of the year, and
Mhm.
now we're finishing the year with God of War. Is there another like epic to come out the next month?
Callisto Protocol, but it's not going to be
Yeah.
the same kind of level, right? But so
Yeah.
this is like one of the year's major releases. But I think this is going to be a year of like indies, kind of like surprise a lot of people. I
think
played
so.
Immortality. That's also probably going to be a game of the year contender.
Did
Sifu
you play
is in there.
Signalis?
I did not play
Damn
Signalis
it!
now.
Who played this game?
Rogue Legacy 2 is going to be in the competition. So I think if you're looking for like big AAA titles, it's going to be Elden Ring and Ragnarok and Horizon.
Okay.
These are your three like
Yeah.
bigger titles, but then it's gonna be like a sea of indie games, and everyone's gonna like fight for their favorite ones. This
Well,
is
what's-
definitely a Game of the Year contender, though.
What's most ridiculous for us is we can say now we're judges for the Game Awards,
Mhm.
all of us as a unit, and we were going through all the different games and like trying to think, because I know all of us are just thinking, what have I played recently? What did I
Mhm.
like? And when we found Horizon, we're like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
that was kind of a big deal, guys. We kind of slept on that just now.
Yeah.
So I'm
It had
curious
its
to see
week.
how that goes. Yeah,
Mhm.
it had a minute.
I think the way I think about Ragnarok is it's a sequel, and the way Forbidden West is a sequel to the first Horizon, right? It's
Mhm.
definitely better. It's definitely more of the
Right.
same. When I think about The Last of Us Part 2, that was an atypical Sony sequel, because that would totally like, twisted everything that we knew about the characters. Spoiler, big things happening at the very beginning of the game.
Mhm.
As opposed
Stuff
to Ragnarok and Forbidden West, which definitely like played safer.
Mhm.
And I think God of War Ragnarok might lose to Elden Ring in the end, just because people will say, well, it's more of the same. And you can say the same thing about Elden Ring, more of the same kind of
As-
formula. But
Mhm.
I think Elden Ring is more ambitious and more interesting of a continuation of the formula than Ragnarok is.
I'm
That's kind of where I'm at.
really, really hesitant with these AAA titles now. And it wasn't so bad until I started here and really got into like seeing what critics have to say, what players have to say,
Mhm.
what's hyped, what's not, when it's announced, that sort of thing. Before, like we've discussed, I played Dragon Age, Mass Effect,
Mhm.
Fable, Elder Scrolls, Fallout. Those were kind of my thing. And I mean, how long have they been talking about Elder Scrolls 6? How long have they been talking about
A
Dragon
lot.
Age? How long
Yeah.
have they been talking about the next Fable, right? So they're talked about for so freaking long, but because those were my games, I'm like, they can do no wrong. It's fine. But now I'm seeing like how hyped they are for things like awards, and I'm starting to feel like, what is going on? I say awards and a doorbell goes off. Um,
Do it
I'm
again.
starting
Package
to
from Jeff Keighley. Meow, meow.
your award.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see like, how do I put it? Like Elden Ring was so hyped, so it had to be
Yeah.
amazing, and we couldn't say it was awful unless it was like friggin' awful. And now God of War, there's kind of nothing else going on, and this game has been crazy hyped. So I'm trying to figure out like if I jumped into those games as someone who wasn't a fan of the last one, or someone who
Mhm.
hasn't been hyped about it for 8 years. I feel like I should swap with someone who doesn't play the games I play, and we can just trade and see if it really lives up to like everyone's hype or just one specific type of person's hype. I don't know
Huh.
what I'm talking about today. I'm sorry. I'm
So
rambling.
so if you didn't like the last God of War, the 2018 one, you will not like this. I
Really?
Did
think
anybody
Okay.
not like it though? Because I've only ever heard good things. I've never played God of War, to be clear. Like,
yeah.
it looked
There's
beautiful.
people who
I've seen a lot of the
care for
gameplay.
it. That's okay. But like this Ragnarok will not change your mind, as
Okay, why?
opposed to because it's just more of the same. The combat is virtually the same, although it's improved, although there are upgrades, although this quality of life changes. The story picks up from like minute one, like exactly where
Okay.
God of War 1 ends. Is
Oh,
where
that's
Ragnarok
cool.
starts. Yeah, it's exactly like you jump right in it, and you have to have the knowledge of the previous game to also kind of enjoy this. They
Okay.
do a recap
Oh,
at the
that's good to
beginning,
know.
but you do have to like really have played the first one. This is a part 2, and the way Last of Us, more than Last of Us was a part 2.
That's pretty cool, actually. A lot of the kinds of games I play, like, Chris, did you play the Fable games?
yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember if it's 2 or 3, but there's a lot of references to the past games and things like that. Same with Dragon Age,
Mhm.
references to the
Mhm.
past games, and those were
I
the
think that was
first
probably
times.
3.
Yeah, they're the one where the guy yells balls a lot because I thought it was hilarious. Anyway,
Really narrow it down, but okay.
there were sorry, there was a lot of like continuation from there, even though you may not have been the exact same character or things like that. And those were things that I never really caught on to before I got into that section of games. So it's interesting to see that you said minute 1 it starts off into the same.
There is a time jump, but even that time jump was teased at the end, very end scene of
Okay.
the first one, so it's kind of like contextual in that sense. But
Makes sense.
to get back to like the kind of Game of the Year discussion, I don't think Ragnarok will be the Game of the Year. I think people will have it in, like the top 5, top 3,
Mhm.
battling out with Elden Ring. But Elden Ring is more interesting of a game because it's
Mhm.
from Software doing open world, whereas this is Santa Monica just delivering a
Doing
sequel.
Santa Monica.
That is very similar to the first one. It's better, it's bigger, it's bolder,
Right.
but the core principles are
just
still there. Yeah.
That's an interesting way to look at it. I like that. That
Well,
they
plus-
did it
plus
well,
the
but they did the
Elden Ring
same
has-
thing.
Yeah, like that's not exactly when you're building off a game that was as well received as God of War.
hmm
That's
I
not a bad
think-
thing.
I think the only thing that Ragnarok has in its favor in this debate is accessibility. I think I
Yes.
think
Yeah, I think that's great.
in terms of how many people can jump to go over Ragnarok and enjoy it and play it and finish and have a complete
Mhm.
experience, I think that number is like vastly higher than Elden Ring. Elden Ring is very like a specialist kind of player. You really want to like get good at
I
the
can't
game.
play Elden Ring.
Yeah,
I
that's
have
kind of the
not been able
discussion.
to.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
So I mean, how
That-
can I vote for a game that I can't play?
Yeah.
I mean, I can separate myself, but I get what you mean. I know there is an interview up on the site and in our new issue about
Mhm.
accessibility in God of War and how
Mhm.
much has changed and how it's going to change for Santa Monica going forward. And I liked hearing that they're sharing things between studios in terms of
And you can tell.
accessibility, and they're making sure that they're always going to do that. It's not
That's
like,
great.
oh, we're doing this differently, so we're going to keep it. It's nope, here's what we learned how to do. Now you guys do it, you guys do it, you guys do it. So we can
That's
all
great.
do this. And it was nice. I'm a crazy, like, emotional person. And when people do good, and I mean do good, I was like crying reading the interview. I'm like, it's so nice that everybody's included. I'm a softie. What can I say?
And just to kind of speak on the accessibility, like Last of Us Part 2 was the benchmark. Now Ragnarok is the benchmark. It's good to see Sony like really push the first party titles in this sense. It's
right.
really nice to see improvement. It's nice to see like a vast array of options from difficulty settings that are fully customizable. You can change at any time. You can rebind keys. You can have HUD. You can have subtitles, which was a big deal for the previous game. Size, color, contrast.
I don't know how
different
people live without
modes.
subtitles.
Yeah,
I
The
have
problem
to.
was, yeah, in the previous one, the problem was that they were too small. Now you can make them as big or
Mm.
as small as you want. So, like, very many accessibility options, very many quality of life options. And I think in that sense, if you're not the hardcore of the hardcore gamers, you've platinum Elden Ring,
Yeah.
you've played it to death. I think Ragnarok will be your game of the year in that sense. But I think the Game Award might be in favor because it's sways towards critic vote. They might actually lean towards Elden Ring because FromSoft has historically kind of been like a very like
Mm.
beloved studio, and I think
Okay.
not universally beloved, but just like when it hits really hard for most people.
Plus,
I feel
Elden Ring
like-
has the advantage of being a multi-platform too.
Yeah.
It's like people who have Xboxes only
And earlier.
and earlier,
Yeah.
like it's had time, which can also kind of work against it. Sometimes those games like kind of fall off because they have been up for so long. But Elden Ring has managed to stay pretty current for most of the
Mhm.
year, despite not having
Big time.
DLC yet either.
Yeah.
Yeah, when that's happening.
But
Surely they'll
for me, also
announce
like
something.
it's balanced out by the fact that Elden Ring hates you. Like Elden Ring does not want you to do well. Like it's
Elden Ring
designed
wants you to fail.
it wants to beat you down, right? And like that's not entertaining to a lot of people.
And that
Like, it
being
has its
said,
audience and-
the easiest FromSoft game I've played.
It is.
Definitely.
Oh god.
I
Yeah.
can vouch for that, but
Oh no.
like it's still at a point where I'm like, yeah, I don't really want the game that disrespects my time this way, and like, yeah, that's just my personal
Rude.
take
And
on it.
I'm
but-
playing Ragnarok on Give Me Go of War, which is the hardest challenge difficulty, and it's not that bad. It really isn't.
Really? Okay.
Sorry, sir, you are a liar.
Yeah.
You
No.
lie.
Could be worse. Could be worse.
I suppose.
It's actually funny. I started playing the first God of War, well, not the first, but like the last God of War just this week
Mhm.
because, well, for one thing, FOMO kicked in when I started seeing the review scores. But also, I kind of want to judge it against Elden Ring on fair grounds, right?
Yeah.
And I've been playing it on just the easiest mode because I want to just get through it so I can move on to
Mhm.
Ragnarok at some point. And it's just like I beat a boss earlier today. And it was just like I beat it with one rage combo, and that was it. And it's like, okay, well,
Yeah.
I'm not doing this game
Do,
justice
do,
playing it this way,
do.
but it's
Yeah.
the opposite of Elden Ring.
It's the story difficulty. It's
You're
just
gonna
the- I'm
hop into
just here for the
Ragnarok and be
story.
like, "What the hell happened?"
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I'm a normal guy. Like I play everything on normal.
See, I play
that
most
should-
things on easy now that I have kids. I want to just enjoy myself. I don't want to be challenged. I work a lot. I'm challenged every day. I don't want to be anymore.
I'm a big trophy hunter, so for me, I always have
Ah,
to
that's
like do
cool.
the difficulty trophies. I have to get them.
That's cool.
But-
I respect that.
Yeah, I'd rather work up to that. Like I start with normal, and then if
Mhm.
I go back, I play on hardcore. Like I've been playing Mass Effect on hardcore for the first time instead of just normal.
Oh, I
so-
did ME1 and ME2 again this year on Insanity, and that was horrible. But okay.
Why do
The
people do
Insanity
this
I'm
to
not looking forward to.
themselves? Like,
Trophies.
why do you want to feel bad about yourself? I don't
I
need
just want
any
the
extra
trophies.
reasons to feel bad about
I
myself.
just won the trophies.
I don't need pixels to tell me I suck. I know. I'm well aware. I'm here to smash things so I feel better. Anywho,
Well, God of War
that's
on
me how
story
my
mode
life
will
is
do
going.
that for you.
Mhm.
Anywho, I feel like we've talked about God of War a lot, and we should probably mosey on out, Chris.
Yeah, we can move along. So yeah, Ed, you've also been playing Marvel Snap too, right?
I have, and I'm writing a review for it, which should be out fairly soon. I'm how many hours in? It's very hard to gauge how many hours I'm into a mobile game because I'm not really keeping track or anything.
Just with
But
you
I
all
would
the
say,
time.
yeah, I did, literally, I would say I've put a solid 30 hours into it. Not even kidding. Which is testament to it being a great mobile game because I'm not usually a mobile gamer at all. I think it's for me it's this and Pokemon Go that really kept my attention for a long time. And yeah, I love it. I've been long seeking like a really good digital card game that really got my attention. I played a lot of Gwent when that came out, but I wasn't
liked
really
Gwent.
involved
It was
interested.
cool.
I liked it as well, yeah. But then I played it on PS4 for some reason, and then they ended the
For
support for the
some
PlayStation
reason. Sorry.
for the PlayStation version, and so I was like, oh, I'm not gonna jump back into it. I couldn't migrate my account to the PC version. I'm like, all right, thanks CD Projekt, I'm out. I played Master Duel this year, and that was an experience. I like Master Duel itself, but Yu-Gi-Oh! The game is broken. Hearthstone is really hard to get back into it, even though they have the new expansion. And so I was like, okay, well, Marvel Snap, the only game I would be interested in, and it really, really, really hits. I think part of its success is that like you play it vertically on your phone, you just play it as it is, so that's really good. Like they've nailed that. You don't have to like put your phone horizontally, which fits the Gen Zers, the TikTok generation, the whatever,
Right.
which that helps actually. And
not
the
wrong,
games
folks.
are the games are about 2 minutes long max. So like
That's
if
really
you lose, no harm done. Just jump into another one. If
Now,
you
if
win,
put a lot of time
jump into
in,
another one. Yeah.
when it first launched and everybody was talking about it, I jumped into it, and I think I jumped into it for about 8 seconds. I'm pretty sure I left in the middle of the tutorial because something happened, not because I didn't like it. The only other card game I've really played is Hearthstone.
Yeah.
But everybody I'm seeing now on Twitter is like posting all these big numbers and these big things. Am I going to be screwed if I try to jump in now, or is it going to pair me with people that suck?
No.
like I do?
So one of the worst things about Snap is that you can only have one game mode, which is the ladder mode. You just play and you just level up. But apparently there's like hidden pull systems. So Marvel Snap has something called a collection level. So you upgrade your collection level by upgrading your cards, and then you get more cards. You don't open packs at all. You just upgrade your cards to get more cards. Based on your collection level, i.e., the number of cards you have available at your disposal, you get seeded into Pool 1, Pool 2, or Pool 3. So if you're a beginner, you will only play against beginners. If you're intermediate, you will only play against intermediate. If you're like have a lot of cards, you'll only also play against players who also have a lot of cards. So if you just start, and I think at the very beginning, I'm pretty sure like the first 2 or 3 hours of the game, I only played AI. I only played bots. So
Yeah, there's been a lot of
so
reports
that
of
helped.
that.
Yeah. Which is weird because the game doesn't really let you know if you're playing a human player or an AI. Sometimes you can tell by the usernames, but sometimes I'm pretty sure they give them fake ones or like something
Fortnite.
like Fortnite or like a name like
Yeah.
Monica, which is just all right. Might be a real player, might be an AI. I wouldn't really
Right.
know, but jump into it, and for the first 2 or 3 hours, I think you'll have a good time, even if you're not playing against real players, because the game is trying to teach you.
And if you want to like make that experience last a bit longer, you can just not upgrade your cards too fast either.
Right.
That was the
Um,
part I didn't like. I've jumped back in a couple times. Like I've probably played like 3 rounds, but my son was helping me the first time and clicked past a lot of things because he's not interested in learning.
Mhm.
So I was like, I guess we're upgrading cards. I don't know how that works, but okay. So I guess I'll have to.
The upgrades are entirely
Learn.
cosmetic too, which is like saying upgrades.
Yeah.
Sounds like a
Right.
misleading title, but
And yeah, let's
Um,
get into monetization. So I'm looking at a shop right now, and I'm looking at my level. I'm level 543, and I spent some money in the game. I must admit, I got the beginner starter pack, which was like Captain America. I'll get the card, whatever. And then I got a battle pass, which is interesting because I think it's the first ever card game who does a battle pass. So for October, they did the Symbiote Invasion. That was Carnage stuff. Now they're doing Wakanda for the Black Panther film. So the season pass, fully cosmetic. You get a few cards, but they won't really change the game unless you build decks around them. So I think you pay for cosmetic cards, for variant cards, and you pay to unlock new cards if you buy the battle pass. But they never, I feel like, really game changers, because you can, even with a standard free-to-play pack, I think you're still very competitive. You just have less options around like what kind of cards you want to build your deck around. So right now, I'm using a deck that I build with mostly cards I've unlocked by playing the game. I have almost no cards I'm using at the moment that I have bought. I have the Miles Morales card in one deck, and that's the one I bought, but that's about it. So it's a very good.
I've been doing
balance.
the Carnage one,
Mhm.
which again from the season pass. So I've also spent a tiny bit there, but I don't feel like it gives you any huge advantage either. It's just getting access to that thing. You still have to build the deck, and even if you
Right.
build the
Right.
best deck, the way the zones work in the game
Mhm.
makes it like a total free for all most of the time. Like I feel the playing field is pretty balanced most of the time.
I dig it.
And even if you have a certain plan, so I have a certain deck for me that's all around me moving my cards. I have like Miles Morales, I have Heimdall, which have abilities that involve me moving around my cards around locations. Even though if I have a set plan for my deck, the locations, because they change every single game, and there's 3 every single game, I don't really know what I'm gonna have to do as I play. So even if you have, let's say, Dana, you have a beginner deck that you just use now, you just build now, you can still win against me because the locations may give you the upper hand, or might stop me from playing my game, which has happened. So you build decks thinking you have a strategy to execute, but then you really have to adjust on the fly.
Now, sorry if I missed this. Can you play against your friends and stuff, or do you just play
Not
what you got?
yet.
No, and that's
Okay.
one of the biggest problems that they have. There's no PvP mode, but there have been a
That's
few
weird, yeah.
interviews with the devs where they say they're gonna add it in the next year. So the only game mode available is just competitive 1v1 ranked ladder kind of thing, which is the worst thing that the game has going for it. There's there's no other way to play the game unless you want to be very competitive. That's kind of it.
That's really strange.
Yeah, the whole pool system's kind of weird to me. Like I'm
Mhm.
collection level 470, so like I'm right at the cusp of getting into that next batch of cards. But there's just no way of knowing that. Like if I hadn't seen other people talking about it, I wouldn't know
Yeah.
that. Because like there's certain cards that like I'm waiting to get. Like I want to get the Venom, I want to get Death or Lady Death, or whatever it's called. Like and I know those cards exist. I just can't get to them
Yeah.
because
I
I'm
also
just
don't
unlocking
have
cards at
Venom or Dead,
random.
yeah.
Yeah. And you're way
And-
I'm
higher
going
than
to
I am.
look for the
so-
game in my apps, and it's not called Marvel Snap in the app. It's just called Snap. And
Oh,
it makes
yeah.
me
Weird.
really
Called
mad. I just
Snap.
want to know. I was
Yeah.
like, what? I had the game. Where is it? I have no idea.
But you're right, Chris. So like from level 400 plus, I think everyone gets the same cards as they level up. But what changes is that you get them in a different order. That's why
Oh,
you might see people who have like Deadpool or Lady Dead or whatever, and you don't have them even though you're a higher level because the order you unlock them is random. So that kind of keeps it a bit fresh.
Is the
But,
level the little green thing in the top?
Yeah. So
That's
I
your
have.
collection one. yeah.
Cool. so
I'm at
we're not
543
crushed it.
now.
We're out. You can't see that. Number one.
Level 1. Yeah.
I'm number one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I,
So you're
I
still
didn't
fighting
play very
bots.
much. I don't know. I'm losing to them.
That's-
No, actually, I won my last game.
Well,
Yeah.
it's so chaotic too. Like I was saying, like it just like the way the
Play my
decks play
Hulk
out, the way
variant.
people can mess with you, random effects that can happen.
Mm.
Just like
Yeah.
I've been winning, and then like I'll play Scarlet Witch, which changes like the effect of a zone, and all of a
Right.
sudden I've shot myself in the foot, and the game's over. like,
Yeah.
but they're so fast that I don't dwell on it. Like it's just I'll just put another game up. Whereas in Magic Arena, which I also play on my phone, which also has a battle pass too, actually, but again all cosmetic
you're
stuff,
right.
and you get a few extra passes or a few extra packs. When I get beat down in that, it's a longer affair, and I feel more
Mhm.
personally attacked. like if I run into someone with a BS deck, I get mad.
Yeah.
I'm like I sour about it for like 10 minutes.
That
Do you
was my
have to
problem
upgrade
with.
people?
Yeah, you do have to upgrade, and that was my
No, but I
problem
mean,
with
like
playing
when it says
Yu-Gi-Oh.
it's ready. Do you?
No, no, you don't
to,
have to.
or
You can choose. You
'Cause
can
it's-
like you can
Yeah.
choose who to spend your credits on,
I don't like this.
and I
And-
would recommend
yeah.
doing
Choose
that.
wisely.
Just gonna put it
Yeah,
down.
Chris, I had the exact same problem playing Yu-Gi-Oh. There would be decks that were built around players winning in one single turn at the very beginning of their turn, and I would just sat there being like, "When's my turn gonna come? Like, and what am I gonna do on my turn? Just play a card or two max?" And Marvel Snap, I feel like even though you encounter BS decks, it's over so quickly. I'm never waiting to do anything. I'm always playing cards, and even outside the game, I'm always upgrading. I'm always unlocking missions, and I think this is what got me hooked into it. They have daily missions that I think update every 2 hours or 3 hours, which
It's-
really keeps me in the loop. They call them daily
That's how they
missions,
get
but
ya.
like they get a lot of them.
Nice.
Mhm.
12 daily
Plus the
missions.
season
Yep.
pass missions too.
Plus the
Like they
season
get up to
pass
a couple
missions,
hours
yeah.
too. So
I
And
just
then
signed in
I-
and had a whole bunch of things to claim. It was very exciting.
Yeah. And that's actually I think what makes it so addictive, that like I'm always unlocking cards, I'm always upgrading, I'm always doing something. I always feel like I'm rewarded, and it's my dopamine levels are always high because I'm like unlocking stuff, I'm winning, I'm feeling good, and if
This
I'm
is
losing,
like
who cares?
the card version of Farmville. Just come
Oh,
back
yeah.
every 2 hours. You can pick your crops and get your
Kind of.
stuff and go away and then come back.
because yeah,
Yep.
there's been a couple of times where like I've finished my goals and I keep playing. I'm like I'm kind of wasting
too,
time
yeah.
because I'm not progressing on missions. I'm not really gaining
Right.
anything from each match because after each match you get like random boosters for like random cards.
Mhm.
So it's like if I'm not getting the boosters for the cards that I want to upgrade, it's just like, well, what am I even doing here? I'm not doing quests or anything like that.
It's interesting. I think it's the only mobile game I've ever played where I'm like, when is the daily mission coming? I'm waiting for that notification being like, when can I play more Marvel Snap? You know.
That's
The last two
exciting.
things I wanna say about it. Number one, there's some really wacky cards in it, which makes it really fun. There's an Uncle Ben card in it that
Oh.
if it gets destroyed, it instantly summons Spider-Man, which I think is really funny,
Oh,
really dark,
That's
but really
neat.
funny.
dark.
And
That is pretty dark.
yeah, and second, you have Agatha Harkness. If you draw her, she then plays the entire game for you. And then
Oh.
and then I had it happen to me a few times where like I randomly drew Agatha, and then I couldn't play my game. Or like there's Ego as a zone, and then both players are just taken over by an AI who plays the game for them. And it's a
That's weird.
very strange experience. And I like the fact that they take risks. Some cards are
It's
just
like an out of body
bonkers.
experience.
Yeah, they just take. It's sure enough that even if something truly wacky happens, at least they're taking risks with a card and with the cards, and that's something I like. The second thing, they really respect the MCU and they really respect Marvel, and they don't make everything about the MCU. We get it. This is like the most popular thing now, whatever. But there's some really deep cuts. You have like Spectrum, you have Wolfsbane, you have a lot of the X-Men in, you have a lot of the OG Marvel characters, and everyone I feel like is respected and beloved and treated with care, which is very nice to see. It's very not MCU centric. It's very much like, no, this is a Marvel game, and I really appreciate that.
They picked some cool artwork for some of the cards too.
Yes.
Especially some of the variants. They picked some weird ones too, but overall, I'm pretty happy with like the art effect of it. The cards look really cool when they burst out of the when they become 3D. But some of the higher level cosmetic stuff, like the animated frame, like this was not worth the credits I put into it. I'm just doing it for the levels at this point.
Right.
This is my fully upgraded Star-Lord card, and it's just like, animated frame, and it's just like shiny all over. It's like it means
Shiny all
nothing,
over.
but it's
But it
kinda
makes you
cool to
feel
look at.
good.
But it makes
Don't
me feel
lie.
good. Yeah. And then I
You
have
feel shiny
foils,
now, don't
like
you?
this is my shiny foily Star-Lord card. And it's stupid, but like
I
it makes
dig
me
that.
feel good about it.
This game's free, or you have to just pay for the battle pass?
Free to play. And you
Free to
just
play,
pay if
yeah,
you
and then
wanna
with the
get
Like
the
I'd be
battle pass.
paying for this. Let's get Brendan on board. Brendan,
Typhoid Mary.
download it.
No.
Do
didn't
it.
get
I
my
would really
levels.
love to play it with someone. I think that's the biggest draw against it. But yeah, more thoughts to come.
Can't do that.
See,
Not
for me,
yet.
like playing Hearthstone, I would play with people and to learn. Like I had friends that had been
Mhm.
playing it for ages, so I'd kind of sit and they'd
Right.
like talk me through it the first few times. So that's a better way for me to learn than just reading and assuming things and then
Right.
getting my ass kicked repeatedly. So we'll see how it goes. I look forward to your review.
Yeah, me too. I want to get it done as soon as possible now. I really
Us
put
too.
time into the game. Yeah.
I'm enjoying it. I just really wish I had more control over what I'm getting. Right, like I wish I could move towards the things I want to play with. Like the Venom
Right.
card would work really well in my Carnage deck, but
What kind of
can't
deck
have 'em
are you running, Chris?
so I switch between two. One that focuses on like ongoing effects.
Mhm.
So trying to get ongoing effects
have
on board,
Odin?
and then yes, I think I just put him into that deck. That's the thing, right? Every few levels, like you need to kind of like look at what you got and kind of
Mhm.
reassess, am I using the best things for it? But the one I play with more is like a Carnage based one, so I'm trying to like play stuff that's cheap and then destroy it to buff Carnage.
Okay.
And then things like Wolverine and Sabretooth kind of come out and get regenerated if they get destroyed. Angel coming in if something gets destroyed in your deck, he's not already in your hand. Yeah, it's Magic Arena does something kind of cool like this, where they have like a digital only mode called Alchemy, where they do things that you just could not do in the physical game of Magic the Gathering, like just crazy effects that would just be impossible to recreate with physical cards. It reminds me a lot of that. Like, there's a lot of stuff that you couldn't. This game would not work as a physical game.
No,
It just wouldn't.
and
Why is that? Just the things it does.
Yeah, so like for instance, there's a card for the X-Men Angel. If something on your board gets destroyed and he's in your deck, he just comes out of your deck. So like you mean like that you could do by just searching through your stack of cards. There's a few other effects that are like you would just have to have so many different like token cards. Like there's one card that summons a bunch of rocks into your hand. They're cards that are just rocks. They cost things. They don't really have any effect. So you'd have to just have so many like unwieldy effects going to play this as a physical game. Not to mention the zones themselves change parameters sometimes at random throughout the matches, and yeah, it's
and even the Agatha card, it's just the AI plays it for you. Like that wouldn't be possible in the way
that would be very hard to do.
Yeah, we just randomize every single decision.
Catherine Hahn comes into your house. What?
Yeah.
No, there's
She's really busy now.
That would be hilarious, and I would play that. But yeah, is there anything else anyone else had on the docket, or?
I think we were just going to talk about anything we were playing.
I
Chris,
got one more game I can play that came out recently.
You can talk about it quickly. This one, this one, you got to short form it.
Short form it. Football Manager 2023 came out. I've been playing it. More of the same. Still a really good simulation game. Don't play FIFA, play FM. Have a good time.
Really?
Become the best manager.
Okay. I didn't be that short. God. Sorry.
Well, you were very harsh about it.
That's cool. I know. Well, that's who I am as a person. I know like F1 Manager came out and stuff like that. Is it the same? Like, is it the same company even, or just
no? I don't think so. But I'm not into F1 Manager. I know it came out recently, but I don't know who makes it.
Me either. Dun, dun.
Frontier Developments makes F1 Manager. I'm pretty sure Football Manager is Sega. Sports Interactive, really? But like distributed by Sega, yeah. I think, right? Used to be, certainly. But yeah, it's definitely Sega. Yeah, distributed by Sega, but Sports Interactive. But yeah, no, different companies, but the same principle. You know, you take charge of literally any football club in the world, or you can create your own, or you can import your own. It's for me, it's insane with the level of detail. You can have every single club in the world if your computer can process all of that data in real time. It's cool. Basically spreadsheet the game. It's just a spreadsheet of players, and it's such a fun thing to do.
What's the appeal then if it's just spreadsheet the game?
No, I mean, no. You can also like see the games play out. So like you have a 3D model of it, but you can actually not have that. You can just have a tactical view. You can just sit back and then watch. You know, like you become a master tactician, and you can have it as complicated as you want, or you can have it as simple as you want. I'm kind of somewhere in between where I'm like, I like some things to be automated and I like some things for me to take charge of. So I think for me, the appeal is that it is a great football game if you love football, as opposed to FIFA, which for me, you don't have to love football. It's just an arcade game. This is for you, like if you actually like the sport, if you like the politics of sport. It's really interesting in terms of like the things that it lets you do. So like you can choose to run a club from like age 18 to like when you retire at age 72 or 73, and you decide every decision along the way. Do you want to delegate scouts? Do you want to delegate transfers? Everything's accounted for. Do you want to build a new stadium or pitch? your club to build a new
Right.
stadium for you. Man, international teams, club level, the amount of detail and depth is to me unparalleled. This is the best kind
I
of
thought you
simulation
just
game
got
of
rich and
its-
bought
of
a
its type.
team and then they won things. I thought that was how it worked.
Yeah, you wish. I mean, just to give
That's
just
what
to-
Ryan Reynolds says.
Yeah. Wrexham, yeah. Just to give you context, I started because I like to start this way. I started with like no managerial experience in the game because you can have like
Right.
coaching licenses and stuff. So no club really wanted me. I went to Barry United,
That's
which is
sad.
a club in Northern Ireland, which plays semi-professional football on the weekends.
Yeah.
And I barely survived relegation. But then I moved to the New Zealand national team and won a cup with them. And now I'm inducted in the New Zealand Oceania Hall of Fame. So it's a very wild
excellent.
game where like all sorts of things can happen. But
I just like how proud you sound. It's making me
I'm
very
very,
happy.
I'm
He's like,
very
I'm in the
proud.
Hall of Fame,
Yeah,
guys.
I'm in the Hall of Fame. No, but like in I played Football Manager 2022. That was my first FM, and then I played it for so many seasons, and that's when I like really won like championships and like Champions League and stuff like that. But it's fun to
Right.
just like see this franchise kind of go on. Definitely minimal changes. Like if you have FM22, I wouldn't say necessarily that you have to jump onto FM23.
Right. Right.
But what's nice about it is that it's on Game Pass.
No.
Oh.
So
okay.
if you already
I
have
love
that
that.
service, you don't have to
Game
like
Pass,
really,
so
you know,
good.
you don't have to get anyone, just jump in. And you can play online with friends. There's fantasy draft. There's online lobbies. I played this exclusively as a single player game, but you can make it. Imagine all four of us like managing a football team. Dana, you can be as
I mean,
proud as
of
I
course.
am of
It
my
would not go
of my
well.
Northern Irish team.
Somehow we'd be playing basketball. I don't know what happened.
But no, I highly recommend it. If you're bored of FIFA and you're unsure about the future of football games, especially now that the official FIFA games are going to be blockchain based, which is
Yeah.
depressing, and
That's
EA
I
awesome.
Sports,
didn't know that.
yeah, we can get into it.
Let's not.
And EA Sports FC is just like probably gonna be a mess, but sell every year. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
FM is the best option, and Konami killed PS eFootball, but it killed it.
Sad.
I
Sad.
learned so much today.
But does the manager game have Ted Lasso in it?
No, but you
Uh.
could make AFC Richmond in it, and that's it.
Mm.
You can make your own. Import the badge, put the kits in, name yourself Ted
Fair enough.
Lasso.
That's close.
Close enough. But yeah,
Interesting.
That's one big win for FIFA for me. I was like,
it
"Ah, I wanna
actually
play it
was.
now."
Yeah.
I have zero interest in
I've never
soccer
been
personally,
able
but
to get into any sports games. Like I just, mind you, I don't really like sports. Maybe that's the problem. But I just watching the puck or the ball or the whatever back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. I'm like, no, I don't want to do
Well,
that in
like-
real life.
like I said, it's kind of like a arcadey kind of thing, right? Like I
Mhm.
don't play them. Like there's like it's been 10 years or so since I played a sports game. And it was like an NHL, but like
Mhm.
it's just the arcadey thing, right? Like I used to have Blades of Steel on NES, and like that's straight up arcade hockey. So it kind of harkens back to that for me. But again, not the kind of thing that I really want to boot up too often, if at all.
I just like that sports games players have their own like little sims now. I imagine it's like you farming.
Yeah,
what-
and
that's what I
it feels
imagine is happening.
weird because it's me and a bunch of like other like 45-year-old men on like forums being like, oh my god, look at my team, or like look at my
Right.
achievements, and it's like, wow, definitely not my demographic, but I'm in.
I felt like that about like fantasy football and things like that. I used to make fun
Yeah.
of people, but then one time, my family were really into Survivor, and one time we did like a Survivor pool, and
Okay.
you like got points based on like who had to be blurred that episode, and it was all this really dumb stuff, and I got way too into it. So I kind of get it, and I feel like I would have a problem if I got involved. I'd be like yelling at people. It wouldn't be good. I have a problem.
That tracks.
Tracks. Thanks, Chris.
That tracks.
So much faith in me. He's not wrong, folks.
I would
That's-
also recommend FM to anyone looking for a podcast game. It is my preferred podcast game. It's so good to not be focus on the game really and just focus on
That's pretty
doing
cool.
something else. So it doesn't even have music, which I found hilarious when I first started playing it last year. They don't have music because why would they have music? Just have
I
your own
don't
music
know.
on Spotify.
It just
I
seems
guess
really
that's true, yeah.
alarming
Yeah.
to me that they
Just
don't.
have-
I guess.
Just have your own music on Spotify, have a podcast on. Like they acknowledge the fact that no one cares about their music, but
Guess
they
could've
have
stuck some stock
sounds.
music in
Yeah.
there, but
They have some sound effects for like goals and stuff, but everything else, no sound.
That's pretty cool.
sounds like a team that knows their market.
Yeah. Just bring your own. Who cares? Yeah.
BYOM. All right.
And
That's
and coming
hilarious.
from someone who likes to get stuck into like games like this, I played Euro Truck Simulator, I played Microsoft Flight Simulator. I'm finding a niche in my gaming habits to become
I've
every 3
recently
months
moved
I'm
to Sims
changing
myself.
professions. Yeah. Every 3 months I'm changing profession.
Oh, I'm
And I've
excited
also
to see
started
what's next.
Sims.
We got a lot of like police simulator today.
Oh, I
emails,
know,
so
and then
I can,
Autobahn Simulator as well.
I can hook you up.
Autobahn.
There's a
Oh my
there's
God.
a drug dealer simulator. We've had this conversation, but
Wow.
we can hook you up with
Yeah.
some simulator.
I need I need a power wash one, I think.
We
Well,
had
that
drug dealer
game's
simulator
actually-
back in like 2002, and it was a web-based game called Mafia Wars. God damn it!
There you go.
That's
Oh,
why
I
we
remember
liked
that.
it.
You make fun of Power Wash Simulator, but I got to preview
good.
that. It was actually
Yeah,
a
yeah.
lot of fun.
I know
I
people
quite
say that.
enjoyed it. But no,
Oh,
I
that's a-
actually jumped into a sim strategy city builder that I got myself roped into somehow. And I was like 10 hours into the game and still doing the tutorial. So
Which
that's
one
a
was it?
game. It's called Lords. Blah, blah, blah. It's called Lords and Villains. It just came out today. It's been in early access for a while, so there's like a crazy community. I just put out my review for it today. It's good. It's a lot of fun, but it's like more work than an MMO. Like there is so much to learn and you micromanage so much. There's like different kinds of families and every family has a different kind of profession, and to build things you need carpenters and the carpenters need this and these people need this, but then you have to make sure the farmers are farming this, and like they won't build anything unless you grant them the materials, and there's like it's a lot to process, and I don't even think I got through all of it. It's
Looks a
like
lot like RimWorld.
I don't know this game, so I can't tell you. But it's really cool, and if I had a lot of time to like really, like I said, they have a whole Discord community, and these people are like into it. And I guess when further on, there's like military, and like it's
Mhm.
it's insane. Like I said, I was 10 hours in, and I was still in the tutorial. I'm like, okay,
Jeez.
it's never going to
balls.
end. So I had to go to the community and be like, guys, I'm trying to build something. I can't get past this part of the tutorial. Why isn't anybody building? And they're like, oh, well, you might not have a storefront, but you might have a storefront. But if you do have a storefront, and they're still not doing it, then you might have to go in here and change this or sell it to them, or you might have to barter and get it over here. I'm like, whoa, I just want a straw wall. And I was out of
Is that
straw.
too much
It
to
was-
ask?
like,
So
why isn't anybody
complicated.
making straw? How do I do that? It was the tutorial, though very thorough, is also very not thorough. Like it doesn't explain to you the first like 4 main ways you can, I guess, rent to a family. There's like they're called fee farm, soakage. It's something I can't say, and you don't actually know what any of them mean. You just pick one and hope for the best. I could have used the community for that. So there's some things that definitely could stand to be explained a little better, and hopefully, like they seem really into like updating the game, and like I said, they're very involved in their community, much a la Stardew Valley, if you will. So I'm excited to see there's a channel in there just for like, hey, what's stuff you'd like to see? Hey, what's stuff that needs to be fixed? So I
Cool.
wanna dive.
And you
into it a
said
little
they
more.
just left early access, right?
They just left early access
Okay.
today. Yeah.
Nice.
It's pretty cool, but I don't know. I don't know if I have it in me to like rule that kingdom.
That kind of approach, or like Terraria did that kind of thing early on, like what kind of stuff do you want to see, what do we need to fix, that kind of engagement, and it worked out really well for that game. So
Yeah.
I think if the team
dig
can
it.
handle those requests properly, it's a really positive thing for it.
Well, see, because I'm used to like I came from playing MMOs, so you're always in chat with people, you're in a guild with people. If you don't know what's going on, they will help you. And I'm diving back into WoW this month, so hopefully I'll
Oh.
find a new group of people that will save me because everything's different. And that was always really helpful. But then when you get into console gaming, like remember when we started gaming, you used to buy like the big
The
like,
Primer guides.
guides for every
Yeah, hell
book,
yeah.
and now
Hell
we have
yeah.
the internet.
I have
What?
one for WoW. Funny that you say it.
Really? That's pretty cool. I got a bunch of them. I used to get them for like Fable when all those came out. I got all that stuff. But now we just have the internet and people like us write the guides. Oh god.
Game facts, bro.
I was
Oh,
gonna say
God.
it's not the same, but we're them now.
Yeah, we are those people.
Yeah.
I am the book.
we don't the guides don't have soul online. It's not like you had the big book you could flip through. It's
Yeah.
Where's the page?
Mm.
Why can't I find it?
why can't we still have both?
Yes. Yes. Well, I mean,
Stuff.
actually, I know Stardew Valley, there's like a book you can buy. Something else I was looking at recently. It might have been this game. There are books on Amazon you can buy for games like this still. It's maybe not as commonplace though.
So that's kind of a niche game to get that. But if the early access community is that strong, I guess they could have been preparing.
It was
so.
one, I don't know what it might be. I'm playing 14 friggin' Sims at the same time now. I'm playing that. I'm playing Let's Build a Zoo. I'm playing Disney Dreamlight Valley. I feel like there's a fourth one that I can't remember right now. So it doesn't win the war, I guess.
There's a Stardew guidebook, fully illustrated, 288 pages, $30.
Yeah.
American.
Yeah, it's the Stardew community is fierce though. Fierce.
That's
There's
about
so
what they used to be back in the day. Like
Remember-
$30 ish.
For one of the Fable games, it came out at my birthday, and we did like the midnight wait outside EB. We got the book, the controller, a weird T-shirt because every T-shirt has to be a men's extra large, and I was like half the size I am now back then, and the game, obviously.
Should hope so, yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
So
Well, now you don't get an
videos-
actual game,
Yeah, well, yeah, you get a special edition with a steel case and no disc to put in the steel case.
which we got today. Well,
Yeah.
a couple days ago.
I saw tweets and videos of people waiting in queue for Ragnarok and midnight release, and it's the first time in a lot of years I've seen that happen. Very many
Yeah,
years.
it's definitely been undercut by being able to download a game digitally at midnight.
Yeah.
Like it's really that was always such a cool community thing though. Like
Yeah, I
Like,
guess
I remember waiting in line outside of Walmart to get my PS2 at launch. Like,
Mhm.
Mhm.
like just talking to the people, and like this one guy online had like a really weird gamer's thumb he was saying, and like you just get into these weird conversations, and it's just kind of neat and fun. And you go home, you play your game late at night, and you just don't get that
Yeah, I
experience.
stayed up
anymore
all
from
night to play
downloading.
Fable, but I don't think I have anything now that I'm that like a part of at
Mhm.
this age and time in my life. So I don't
Well, for
even
me,
know
it's
that
like
I would.
next week when Pokemon Scarlet and Violet come out, I'm like, where's the midnight launch? I want to get in the line. Like,
Oh god, I think it's
Aren't
the
you the one at
first
the front of mine?
the first Pokemon
Maybe.
generation I'm skipping. I think with
Really?
Really?
Scarlet and Violet. I love Pokemon. Don't care for this gen. I don't know why. Maybe I'll just buy
just
it
a
anyway.
hater.
But no, I love Pokemon. I really do. And it's like, I'm not that curious this time around.
Interesting. Brendan,
yeah,
what
so
would you
far
have
it's been
waited
like
in
a lot of
line
hype
for?
it. So
Oh, I don't think I've waited in line for anything. I
said,
waited
what
in
would
line
you?
for Doom 2 back in the day.
Ah,
Doom 2.
Doom 2.
Nice.
Alright.
Doom 2.
Do
Yeah,
I
like
want to
a
look up when that came out? Am I
95,
gonna
maybe
am I gonna
96.
call you out?
So they had a special
1955.
deal when the game first came out. They had a special deal at like the local computer store, and it was $20, and you could get the box game and everything. I'm like, I will totally do that.
Mhm.
That was
Sorry,
1994.
when did you say it came out? Yeah, it was 94.
Yeah, I'm old.
Oh, oh my.
95 for the expansion.
That was before the E ESRB was the thing. So
No, it had an M rating on the box.
Your parents just didn't care about you.
They did not care.
I
Oh.
thought it was still
Oh,
the
man.
I guess the I guess the ESRB was the one that had the KA ratings at first, and then it was the E.
I do not
Hey,
know
yeah.
KA.
KA was
Killer.
kids and adults or something
Ah.
like that. Like that was they
Killer
used to be
adults.
the old A. Yeah, that used to be the old like, E for everyone rating.
That's
No
aggressive.
teens.
I don't like that one.
Yeah, no
I don't-
teens.
That one doesn't
That's why they
sound
changed it. I'm guessing.
nice. Yeah. Skip a whole generation. Those teens, they'll hate this one. The rest of you, though, you're fine.
Too busy
That's
being
hilarious.
angsty.
Kids to
funny.
adults. No emo kids
Mhm.
allowed.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think that'll do it for us. I had a couple of things I'm playing, but we've been talking for a while. So,
You could quickly
Well,
list if you want to say.
well,
We actually
speaking of
haven't been here as
Stardew,
long as
then,
normal.
speaking of Stardew, I've been playing Harvestella from Square Enix. which they marketed as a life sim like Stardew, but I think that's misleading. It's a good game. I'm
Because
enjoying
that
it.
sounds exciting to me.
It's just I don't want to give the wrong impression because like I know how much you love Stardew, but I'm not sure you dig this one.
Yeah,
Right,
that's I can bet you I probably won't. I
Probably
can
not.
look at it and be like, you guys are lying to me.
Yeah, it's there is like a life sim farm element to it, but it's
Okay.
takes a real backseat. At least in early chapters, like there's some pacing changes that happen, and like all of a sudden you have kind of more free reign to do what you want and
It's
that
very
type of
pretty.
thing. But there's still a story pushing you forward. Yeah, it's a pretty game. It looks really good on the Switch, actually. It's a little muted in handheld mode, but like it looks really sharp on the TV. On the TV. Not sure what accent that was, but
I wasn't gonna say anything for once. Damn.
I beat you to it. That had to be acknowledged. Yeah, so it's a weird kind of blend between like the usual kind of fantasy elements that Square Enix uses a lot in their games, mixed with like that life sim element of Stardew or whatever, but also with a bit of like the Atelier series, like Atelier Riza.
Mm-hmm.
It's a strange Venn diagram, but it works for me anyways. I can see it pushing off like the people who think it's Stardew. Like if that's what you're expecting, it's not that.
Yeah,
It's
like
much
I
more
just hopped to
story-based.
look at it, and the first two pictures that come up are they're farming. And I'm like, but this doesn't look like farming. This person is standing on a lily pad in water, but there's
But
crops.
there's fishing.
How's
No, there's crops in front of them. I'm confused. Anyway,
how's the corrupting
It looks cool.
mechanic thing? There's like something that corrupts the world, right? They call it something stupid in the trailers, but I don't remember.
It's called the Quietus.
There we go.
Yeah,
They
that
called it
kind of
something
kicks in
stupid.
at the seasons. So like when the game starts, like you've been caught in the Quietus, and
Okay.
you remember gets wiped, essentially. It's kind of the thing
uplifting.
you're supposed to
I dig it.
avoid, and you're supposed to stay inside during the Quietus. You get caught outside in it. Can't really say how it affects the gameplay per se, but that's kind of the whole conceit for the story, at least.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a weird mix of things, but I kind of dig it. It's just I don't know. Again, to come back to the Sonic Frontiers thing, it's like, what's the market for this, right? Because like you kind of have to like those three things, like the crafting and farming and like the JRPG
Anime.
story nonsense, and anime kind of stuff to really get the most out of it. So, but
I mean, I think it's similar to like Rune Factory, I guess. That kind of has those elements.
yeah, it's like if the dungeon crawling in Harvest Moon and Rune Factory and all those games had more of a reason for it. Because like at least in Harvest Moon / Story of Seasons, it's like, yeah, there's a mine you can go into and just fight some monsters, and if you want to do that, if you want to take a break from farming, it's winter, you got nothing else to do, go fight some monsters.
Right.
Okay.
It's fine.
At least like Harvestella is like giving you more of a reason to go crawl through a dungeon or whatever, and like it takes a couple days to get through those things because you run out of energy or time. And if you get caught out too late, then of course you have to go back and sleep. So that's where the life sim elements kind of come in and pull you back out of the dungeon crawling. Yeah, it's interesting, but I've also been playing Tactics Ogre from Square Enix, though. Tactics Ogre Reborn, which is a remaster of an old strategy RPG that kind of... I mean, Fire Emblem kind of started the genre, and then Tactics Ogre took it in a different direction that I kind of prefer to Fire Emblem. So it was neat to kind of play this one because I haven't played the previous versions. The PSP and the PS1 versions go for insane amounts on the resale market. So it's just kind of one of those things. Yeah. At least before this was announced, they might have come down a bit since they're more accessible now. But yeah, it was a real holy grail for a lot of people. But yeah, so Tactics Ogre Reborn makes it very accessible. There's voice acting. It reminds me a lot of Final Fantasy Tactics, which is one of my favorites in that series, but not as interesting gameplay wise. Because Final Fantasy Tactics has the whole job class system going for it. This has a version of that, but you can very much tell that this was the game that inspired Tactics. Like they went and hired the director of this game to make Final Fantasy Tactics for them after it came out. Like that's how much they liked it.
All right.
So it's a neat history lesson. If you don't like strategy RPGs that are like high and mighty with their tone and stuff, it's not going to win you over probably because it is that kind of like not Shakespearean, but that kind of lofty kind of talk, and really heavy politicking in the plot. But if you do like those things, this thing is an absolute feast, and you should definitely try
Right.
it.
If you do like
Is
those,
the-
boy, do we have a treat for you. Sorry.
Yeah.
It sounded like
Is it a good remaster?
Yeah, it looks fantastic. I was actually looking up videos of the Famicom version and other versions, and it's quite a nice glow up. Although this game was like pushing the Famicom back when it came out. Like the product, like the theatricality of it is amazing for a 16-bit game.
Really?
And looks really good in like HD. Although like the character models are a little frumpy. They're kind of I could use a bit more definition on them. Like they kind of look like blobs at times. But like, and again, it's so hard not to compare it to Final Fantasy Tactics because like that had more defined character sprites and stuff like that. This was a little more generic. So like that's just the way the game was because it came before the game that I'm comparing it to. So I'm trying to be fair that way. But yeah, no, it's if you like tactics, definitely check out this game. And kind of see where it all came from.
dig it. I dig it.
That's my wrap up.
Fair.
Applause. It's still your
Now,
turn
is there
though.
anything else? Now, is there
Yeah.
anything else?
I don't think Brendan's that riveting today.
I have played nothing. I have nothing to contribute that would be
He
fun.
really wants to play God of War though, and there's a
I do.
happy little empty tin over there that might brighten his day.
What's in the tin? Hope.
What's in the tin? Nobody's there.
Okay, 7.
Boy, what's in the tin?
Yes.
What's in the
Chris,
tin?
you get me. Uh,
Anyways, that's going to do it for us for this week. We're dipping into 7 references. If you'd like to read more on these topics and more, you can find full coverage at cgmagonline.com, including reviews of many of these games that we just talked about. Be sure to follow CG Magazine on all the socials. Just search CG Mag, you'll find us. And if you have any questions or comments, you can send them to podcast@cgmagonline.com. Ed, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter, at least for the meantime, until Elon Musk destroys it completely, at
I mean,
Edward
Parody.
Gafton.
Parody.
Yeah, parody. Edward_Gafton. Or you can find me on CG Mag. You can find reviews, features, and everything else. And yeah, looking forward to the Marvel Snap review in the coming days.
me
Amazing.
too. I need to learn. Teach me, oh wise one. Thank you. You can find me at the Dana Eileen, also on Twitter temporarily, and on some weird news sites that I don't know anything about. So I'll let you
Mastodon.
know if they. Yeah, that thing frightens me, but I'm there. So there's that, and
Oh,
there's
you're on the
something else.
Mastodon.
Yeah, I don't know how though. So maybe I'm there. I got an email that said I was. I just can't find me.
I heard it's elusive, so good on you.
I'm lost. But yeah, I'm Instagram, TikTok, because I rip off all of our CGM.
I like all of the
posts.
CGM TikToks all the time.
Yes.
You're
I
the
then
best.
repost them on mine because I'm trying to seem like I have a life. Hey.
and I am BFry26 on everything.
And you can find me on Twitter at Hugathy or here on Twitch at Guild2Taps. Where next weekend, Friday, November 18th, 8 p.m., you can check out our Extra Life charity fundraiser for 24 hours.
Hey.
Guild2Taps on Twitter. We'll have more info on that. But yeah, that'll do it for us for this week. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next week.
Peace
We love you all.
out. Love. Wow.